Picture a dev stand-up at 10 a.m. The back-end lead explains a dead-letter queue. You, the PM, nod, because you know it routes failed messages for retry. Your designer whispers afterward, "What was that?" And you translate in plain English. That tiny moment buys you a truckload of engineering trust. Today we'll unpack how tech fluency and early collaboration turn that trust into shipping velocity. When we shift topics, I'll simply say now we'll talk about the next piece. Why PMs need tech fluency. Harvard Business Review surveyed 300 tech teams and found products led by technically conversant PMs hit schedule targets 22% more often than those led by purely business PMs. Engineers listen when you grasp their world, APIs, latency, branching strategy, because it shows respect for the craft. Now we'll talk about the minimum tech baseline. You don't need to write production code, but you must. Sketch the system's boxes and arrows at a whiteboard. Read an API spec and see if a field is missing. Recognize why a one-line change could trigger a week of regression testing. Boost that literacy with crash courses. Harvard's free CS50, O'Reilly's Designing Data-Intensive Applications Summaries, or internal Lunch and Learns. Block 2 hours a week for shadowing dev pair programming. Nothing beats watching Git blame in real time. Now we'll talk about inclusion from day zero. Invite engineers into problem discovery, not just solution handoff. Slack's PMs famously bring devs to customer interviews. Engineers often spot low-effort, high-impact fixes the PM missed. In our EcoSnap app, the Android dev suggested caching barcodes locally, cut API calls 40%, and please both users and finance. Now we'll talk about ceremonies and how you show up. Backlog grooming, present user stories plus context, metrics, user quotes, screenshots of pain, not a feature edict. Ask, is there a simpler technical path? Sprint planning, when engineers size a story at 13 points, fight the urge to barter it to 8. Instead, ask which acceptance criteria drive the estimate. Maybe you can defer a corner case. Daily stand-up, listen for blockers you might clear, unclear requirements, missing test data, stakeholder sign-off. Retro, own your missteps, e.g., I swapped backlog order mid-sprint and created rework. Next time I'll flag changes in Slack first. Respecting estimates makes you the ally who protects focus, not the scope creep villain. Now we'll talk about negotiating scope trade-offs. At Spotify, a PM once needed lyrics on mobile by Q3, but audio latency bugged the iOS team. The PM asked, what if we release static lyrics first, then karaoke-style sync later? Engineers agreed, the MVP shipped on time, feedback guided phase 2, and everyone kept credibility. The pattern, guard the outcome, lyrics delight, while flexing the implementation. Now we'll talk about technical debt and architectural runway. When the principal engineer waves a refactor card, don't reflexively push it to next quarter. Ask for the cost of delay. How many bugs, outages, or velocity hits will ignoring debt inflict? Frame debt paydown as feature enablement. Sharding the database unlocks EU expansion. Executives fund refactors that unblock revenue. Quick checklist for everyday PM dev harmony. Translate strategy into problems, not features. Write user stories with crisp acceptance criteria. Let devs design the how. Confirm you understood. Repeat their solution in your own words. Celebrate technical wins in demos. Engineers love a PM who notices a 200 ms speed boost. Keep learning. One architecture doc a week, one post-mortem every sprint. Do this, and engineers will pull you into ideation instead of resisting your roadmap.